Good day, grade 5. Welcome to our science class. So today we are now in week 2, day 1. So today we are going to describe erosion control measures for crop environments. So last time we talked about what are weatherings and soil erosion and the effects of soil erosion. Today, we're going to discuss on how are we going to control soil erosion. But we're going to ask the question or answer the question, okay? So how can harmful effects of soil erosion be lessened? So in order for you to answer that one, we're going to talk about what are the ways to control soil erosion. Okay, first is the natural vegetation. So this is the simplest and natural way to controlling soil erosion through the natural vegetation, which is allowing plants and trees to grow naturally without human interference. So these root systems grip on the soil and make it more stable, thereby minimizing the movement of the soil throughout the ground. So this is the picture of the natural vegetation. So here also the trees can also serve as windbreaks when they are planted in a straight path covering the crops from direct wind blows, thus lessening the soil erosion takes that place. So here is an example of the windbreakers. So trees are planted in the vertical way or horizontal way so that the crops will not be affected on the other side. Next is the contour plowing. So since erosion easily takes place on a slope, farmers who plant on the mountain sides follow the contours or curves of the land. Instead of planting the crops up and down the slope as to slow down the flow of water and the soil that it carries. Look at this picture. So you can see that they are following the shape of the ground or the land. Okay. So you know what? That has a purpose on it. Okay. Because maybe um the water when you're going to plant the crops, maybe the water prevented the soil when it going to carries, or maybe mm, okay, preventing the flow of water and the soil that it carried. So that is contour plowing. Next is the strip cropping. So the method of alternatively planting different crops in strip is called strip cropping. So these crops are planted across the slope too. So look at this one. This is an example of or the picture of the strip cropping. So the strip crops lessen the soil erosion since they hold much water in the soil. So you can see that one in when they are planting the sugar cane. Yes, you can see an example of the strip cropping. Next is terracing. So have you been to or at least seen the photos of Banawi rice terraces in the mountain province? So if not, this is the example or the picture of the Manawi rice terraces in mountain province. So this is a very good examples of terracing. So involves painting on the terraces or steps built on the slopes of mountain sides. Farmers build wide flat rows of terraces on mountain sides to act as ridges to help slow down the flow of water that carries soil. By doing so, the rate of erosion also slows down. So that is an example of rice terraces or terracing. Okay. Next is the crop rotation. Refers to planting crops in a different spot each year. So look at this picture. Okay, farmers use crop rotation not just to prevent pests from destroying plants, but also to maintain good quality of the soil. Okay, for example, a farmer would plant on a corn on one part of the field while the cabbage would be planted on the other side. After harvesting season, the soil would rest for a while. Then the farmer would plant the corn on the area where cabbage was planted before, and the cabbage will be planted on the cornfield. Doing so helps soil maintain its good quality. A soil that has good quality is moist. Moist soil cannot be carried away by the wind or the water. Okay, so this is a picture of the crop rotation. So here in different area, this is a spring onions. I think this one is another kind of vegetable and other kind of a vegetable. This is an example of crop rotation. Next is the rip wrapping. So rip wraps or chunk of stones or rocks arranged on the edge of a slope. This arrangement of stones does not serve as foundation, but also a ridge to control soil erosion. So another way, this is an example of rip wrapping. Okay, so this arrangement of stone does not serve as a foundation, but also the ridge control soil erosion. When the rain pours down, most of the soil carried away down the slope that is deposited on the riprapes here. Riprapes can be seen on the riverbanks and shorelines. Okay, next, another here, how forests help controlling soil erosion. So forest is very important, okay? Okay, now look at this one. This is the forest canopy. So the uppermost layer of the forest where most trees, branches, and leaves are found. Yes. So acts like an umbrella that lessen the impact of the rainforest on forest floors. These lessen the rate of soil erosion. So the leaves that fall down to the ground cover the forest floor together with naturally grown mosses. These coverings minimize the force of surface runoffs of less soil is carried away by water. So since a lot of trees and plants inhabit the forest, more root systems hold the soil together. Roots of trees spread out underground and keep the soil more intact. The more intact a soil is, the less prone it is to the soil erosion. So this is the forest canopy. We can see the uppermost layer of the forest. Okay, look at this. So this is an example of the forest. Yes. So we need to take care of our environment and our forest too. So thank you very much for listening, grade 5.